What's good, y'all? Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and make sure your notifications are on, because what I'm about to drop isn't just gossip, isn't just local news. It's a wake-up call. And if you live in or anywhere near Thornton Township, Dalton, Harvey, Dixmoor, or the surrounding areas, you need to sit down for this. We're talking about a level of political corruption so bold, so arrogant, so in your face, it makes your stomach turn. This isn't some little backroom deal or shady handshake. This is systematic betrayal by people who promise to protect the very communities they're now bleeding dry. And let me be real clear right up front. This is not about tearing down our own community for sport. This isn't airing dirty laundry just to watch the chaos. No, this is about accountability. This is about looking dead in the eyes of the people who wear our skin, claim our culture, wave our flag, and then turn around and rob us blind and saying, you do not represent us. You don't get to hide behind blackness like it's a shield while you stab your own people in the back. From this day forward, we're drawing a thick, unshakable line in the sand. We will no longer defend you. We will no longer make excuses for you. You want to rob taxpayers? You want to use your office like a personal ATM? You want to embarrass the name our ancestors died to protect? Congratulations, you just disowned yourself. We're not carrying you. We're not protecting you from the consequences. You chose greed over community. And you're about to face that choice head on. Let's get into some names. Because we're not playing the you know who I'm talking about game, I'm put it on record. Fonnie Willis, yes, we saw you. Loud and clear. Tiffany Henyard, oh, we definitely saw you. The mayor of New Orleans? Yep. The city of St. Louis? Same song, different verse. And Brandon King over in East Cleveland. The man turned City Hall into his own little hangout spot, blew taxpayer money like it was pocket change. And when it came time for justice, they didn't haul him off to prison. Nope. They handed him probation like he'd just been caught jaywalking. That's the kind of justice that makes crooks laugh. And Tiffany? She watched that and thought, maybe I'll skate free too. But let's be real. The feds don't move quick. But when they move in silence. And they don't miss. They're like a storm on the horizon. You can pretend it's not coming. You can convince yourself the sky's still blue. But when it hits hard. Tiffany, that clock is ticking. And here's the thing that eats at me. How do people like this even get into office? Is it straight up manipulation? Are they that slick? That convincing? Or are we just too tired, too distracted, too trusting? I'll give credit where it's due. Tiffany can work a room. She's got the smile, the voice, the charm. She'll tell you everything you want to hear. But behind that, it's all smoke and mirrors. She rolled into Dalton and Thornton like a queen claiming her throne. But the only crown she's wearing is made of stolen receipts and taxpayer checks. And she's not alone. Let's talk about Clarence Clark. Yeah, I said it. The man's a smooth talker. I'll give him that. The type who could sell salt to a slug and have you thanking him for it. But when you strip away the smile and the small talk, just another cog in the same corrupt machine, then you've got Napoleon Hurd, basically Tiffany 2.0. Walks in with a charm, walks out with a paycheck big enough to make a Wall Street exec jealous. A six-figure one. And before you think, well, maybe he earned it, let me be clear, this is not hard-earned money. This is money funneled out of the community. Here's the kicker. The township supervisor position Napoleon took, that job was supposed to pay $57,000 a year. That's what the books say. That's what's fair. But Napoleon didn't just accept the role. He rewrote the rules for himself. Boom. $220,000 salary. Just like Tiffany was pulling in. The difference? At least Tiffany inherited the number. Napoleon looked at the system and said, why wait? I'll just pay myself like I'm the CEO of Amazon. And you can't tell me they do this thinking they're going to get away with it forever. No, they know the risk. But in their minds, it's worth it because they've seen too many people before them walk away untouched. They think they're invincible. And the sad part, for a while, they usually are. Meanwhile, the people they're robbing, the single mothers trying to keep the lights on, the small business owners barely breaking even, the kids stuck in schools with outdated books and broken heaters, they're the ones paying for these luxury lifestyles. Every stolen dollar is a pothole that doesn't get filled, a park that doesn't get cleaned, a community program that gets shut down. The arrogance is mind-blowing. They sit at galas, sipping champagne, posing for pictures, acting like they built something we're celebrating, when in reality, all they built is a house of cards stacked on the backs of hard-working people. And it's only a matter of time before it all comes tumbling down. Here's the part they never think about. Corruption isn't invisible forever. It leaves a trail. And in this digital age, that trail is a whole lot easier to follow. Receipts, bank transfers, contracts, gifts from friends. It's all out there, waiting for the right person to connect the dots. And when that happens, it's game over. But here's where we come in. We can't just sit around waiting for the next headline to drop. We can't just share the story on Facebook and keep scrolling. We have to pay attention to who we're voting for. We have to ask hard questions. We have to demand receipts before we hand over trust. Because if we don't, we're basically handing them the keys to the vault and saying, go ahead, help yourself. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about Democrats or Republicans. This is about greed. This is about people who think their position makes them untouchable. People who convince themselves that as long as they're smiling in public, no one will notice what they're doing in private. But we notice. And now, the whole country's noticing. The spotlight is on, and once it's there, you can't turn it off. Tiffany Henyard, Clarence Clark, Napoleon Hurd. Your names are etched into this conversation now, and it's not going away. So here's my message to anyone sitting in a position of power right now, thinking they can pull the same tricks. The days of moving in silence are over. The internet doesn't forget. The streets talk. And the people, we're paying attention now. You might get away with it for a season, but trust me, your season always comes to an end. And when it does, no amount of charm, no amount of speeches, no amount of photo ops is going to save you. They're waiting for the right person to connect the dots. And when that happens, it's game over. But here's where we come in. We can't just sit around waiting for the next headline to drop. We can't just share the story on Facebook and keep scrolling. We have to pay attention to who we're voting for. We have to ask hard questions. We have to demand receipts before we hand over trust. Because if we don't, we're basically handing them the keys to the vault and saying, go ahead, help yourself. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about Democrats or Republicans. This is about greed. This is about people who think their position makes them untouchable. People who can